Throughout the scriptures from the beginning to the end, from Genesis chapter 1 right through to Revelation chapter 21, we discover numerous accounts of angels intervening in the lives of human beings. And every encounter that we read in the Bible, I can tell you one thing for sure: that angel was not there by accident. When we read Hebrews chapter 1 verse 14, it says this about angels: "Are they not all ministering spirits sent forth to minister to them who are the heirs of salvation?" And who are the heirs of salvation? Well, that, my friend, is you and me. We are the heirs of salvation. You see, first and foremost, we must understand that these angels are ministering spirits. They are here to help us to complete and to do God's will. Psalms 91 verse 9 to 12. "If you say, 'The Lord is my refuge,' and you make the Most High your dwelling, no harm will overtake you, no disaster will come near thy dwelling. For he will command his angels to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands, so that you will not strike your foot against the stone." In Hebrews chapter 1 verse 14, where it states we are the heirs of salvation, that word salvation means rescue or safety, deliverance from the harassment of the enemies. The enemies being referred to here is the devil and his henchmen. So many of the children of God are being harassed by the adversary. Whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, the adversary does not like you and is out to get you, and he'll do everything in his power to do so. It's nothing personal against you. He could care less about you, but the devil knows that he can't compete with God. He can't come anywhere near the power of God Almighty. So the only way he can get back at God for what happened to him in Luke 10 verse 18, when he was cast out of heaven like lightning, is by going after God's object of affection. That's you and that's me. Yes, you. You are the object of God's affection. He loves you. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And unfortunately, so many of God's children are being harassed by the adversary and his tools. For example, fear, anxiety, stress, burnout, overthinking, pressure, crisis over here, crisis over there, bad news here, bad news there, and they are caught up in the middle of a fight. You know that I am a big advocate of viewing life as a fight. Life is a fight, and anything worth having in life, you will have to fight for it. The sooner you come to that realization, the better. To get a promotion, you will have to fight to get yourself in a position where you can be seen to get a promotion. Even in your own family life, you will have to fight, not against each other, but against the challenges that face your family. Nahum 4 verse 14, "Fight for your brothers, fight for your sons, fight for your daughters, fight for your wives, fight for your houses." Your family is worth fighting for. Life in general is a fight. And as you are listening to me right now, in some capacity, you are involved in a fight. Whether it's a fight for your health, a fight for your family, or a fight for good grades, in some form or fashion, you are involved in a fight, and you will have to get used to it. The enemy will try to do everything to ensure he overwhelms you while you are facing the battles of life. If the truth be told, you are fighting fights, you are fighting battles you don't need to fight alone. Psalms 35 verse 1, "Fight those who fight against me." If you're fighting sickness, God will fight for you. If you're fighting adversity, God will fight for you. If you're fighting trouble, God will fight for you. And further on in that chapter, it says, "Let the angel of the Lord chase them." Here is the bottom line. You are fighting fights you don't need to fight alone. You have angelic angels that are under the command of God, ready to help you, but they are waiting on you. God has not left you alone in life. God has not abandoned you. He is ready not just ready but willing to send you help to help you in the fight, but he is waiting on you.
If you and I will only learn how to pray, all of our problems are going to be solved. Solving of every problem, the meeting of every need, the fighting of every battle, the accomplishment of every purpose is all wrapped up in praying.
When Peter was sent to prison in the book of Acts, it was not an accident when the angel sent by God appeared out of thin air in the midst of Peter's cell and broke his chains as easily as glass shattering on a concrete floor. No, it was no accident that angel told him, Peter, get up and follow me. And as they walked past guard after guard after guard, not one of them could stop them in their path. Peter was able to walk out the front gates of the prison without even the smallest bit of resistance. I don't think you are hearing me. Peter escaped out of prison from the front door. He just walked out. He didn't need to do a James Bond or a Mission Impossible. He didn't need to scale a 10-foot wall. No, why? Because Peter had been assigned an angel with such power that he was able to walk out of the front door. And make no mistake about it, the angel was not there to help him by accident. He was sent on assignment by God. It is no accident that the angel was there to set him free. What caused the angel to come? Acts 12 verse 5. Peter therefore was kept in prison, but prayer was made without ceasing of the church unto God for him. Prayer was made without ceasing. God is willing to help you in your situation. God is willing to help you. He's not just willing to help you, he is able to help you. He's not just able to help you, he wants to help you in your situation. Pray without ceasing. Ask and it shall be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door shall be opened. Our problem is that we do not ask. God wants to help you. You are fighting fights you don't need to fight alone. You have angelic angels that are under the command of God, ready to help you, but they are waiting on you. God has not left you alone in life. God has not abandoned you. He is ready, not just ready, but willing to send you help to help you in the fight, but he is waiting on you. We are fighting fights we don't need to fight alone. You are not alone in this matter. God wants to help you. You are fighting fights you don't need to fight alone. Get on your knees and pray. Be vigilant with your prayer life. Be aggressive with your prayer life. Be forceful with your prayer life.
If you and I will only learn how to pray, all of our problems are going to be solved. Solving of every problem, the meeting of every need, the fighting of every battle, the accomplishment of every purpose is all wrapped up in praying. I think we can say without fear of argument that you and I are what our prayers are. Our Christian life cannot be divorced from our prayer life. If our prayer life is weak, our Christian life is weak. If our prayer life is unintelligent, our Christian life is unintelligent. You can't divorce praying from living. Jesus said men ought always to pray and not to faint.
Let's turn to the book of Daniel. When an angel visited Daniel in Daniel 10 verse 12, then he said to me, do not fear, Daniel, for from the first day you set your heart to understand and to humble yourself before God, your prayers were heard. And I have come because of your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me for 21 days. And behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left alone there with the kings of Persia. Prayer is the answer. Prayer is the answer. You are facing battles. You are facing situations you don't have to face alone. Notice what the angel said. Your prayers were heard, and I have come because of your words. Prayer is the answer. God answers prayer.
The disciples said, Lord, teach us to pray. But instead of that, I was saying, Lord, teach us how to pray. And that's not the case. They were not saying, Lord, teach us how to pray. But to the contrary, they were saying, Lord, teach us to pray. Teach us to pray. Now, I believe personally tonight, one of the great shortcomings in our church and in our home and in our country is the lack of prayer. Amen. Now, the Bible does not say that man ought always to sing. It does not even say that man ought always to preach. But it does say that man ought always to pray. In fact, it said, pray without ceasing. Now, to you that may fall into a certain category that we're in today, so many times we get the idea that prayer is a bunch of words with a lofty sound and a religious tone and a meaning. But did you not know that prayer is not necessarily a bunch of words? Now let me say to you, dear friend, today, you don't have to be down on your knees with your hands folded, and I have no scriptural instructions that I'm supposed to close my eyes. Amen, I pray a lot of times driving a car, and I'd be a fool to close my eyes. You don't have to be in church to pray. You don't have to be down on your knees to pray. You can be walking around praying and talking to God. But now the question comes again, Lord, teach us to pray. God, teach us to pray. Not how to pray. I know what God said when He said, if my people, which are called by my name, and here's our first problem when it comes to praying, will humble themselves. Now, boy, we've got a mountain right there to get rid of. Well, you said all I've got to do is get down on my knees. Now, I'm going to say this, and I'm not trying to be a smart aleck or cute. You must have slept on the side of your head and your brain without your ears. That doesn't necessarily mean when you get down on your knees that you're humble. Humility is not a position of the body, it's a condition of the heart. You can be down there on your knees, and with your hands folded, your eyes closed, and all of that, and still be proud and full of pride. Am I right? It ought to humble you just to realize who you're talking to. Amen. You're not talking to some little old puny president. You're not talking to some little old warty king. You're talking to the great I am, that reached out here one day and hung the world on nothing. You're talking to the one that created a little bird and set it on the limb and taught it how to sing. Amen. You're talking to the one. I'm saying to you tonight, get off of this junky so-called prayer and bury your face somewhere and have a little talk with Jesus.